Wait. Forget the intro, forget the Nintendo logo. That title clearly says Designing for Linearity. That doesn't make sense. Super Metroid is one of the pioneers of the non-linear gameplay style. We're a game analysis channel. Pro gaming journalism at its finest. And that means, if we talk about Super Metroid, it has to be about its Metroidvania mechanics. We have to say how the world is continuous and open-ended, how the continual small rewards invite exploration, blah blah backtracking, blah blah map menu, blah 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 x-ray vision, blah 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 bombing all the surfaces. We're not going to talk about that. Not only is this argument incredibly overstated, but it makes the fallacy of assuming that Metroidvania mechanics inherently lead to good game design. To be clear, I do think they work for what Super Metroid is going for. They help instill a sense of loneliness where finding material objects is your only joy in life, like the miserable wreck you are. And, slow and steady empowerment of the character, rewarding exploration, accomplishment in figuring out applications of new abilities in unique ways, yada yada yada. But isolation isn't the only mood Super Metroid invokes, and ironically, it's not even its strongest one. Lower Norfair stands as direct opposition to everything that Super Metroid had up to that point represented, and takes off those explorative training wheels. You're in Ridley's house now. The intimidating Ridley head and the elevator mark a clear distinction between this area and the higher Norfair above. Immediately, this area is far more oppressive. It's overflowing with lava that drains your health rapidly. Enemies pop out consistently to limit the movement options you've gained through the game. And the architecture is crumbling and decrepit. Most of the game's music is atmospheric and flowing, but Lower Norfair's theme is a completely different beast, with a steady, powerful drum beat and punchy quarter notes, very much like a war march. It's not a comfortable area to explore, it's an enemy base to storm. If you have a look at this map, it might seem fairly open-ended, but here is a helpful guide I made to show you the path through the level, marked in yellow. Green is optional areas or shortcuts back to the start, with most of them being over in a second, or clearly foreshadowed as a shortcut earlier on. In fact, the game hits you over the head with this right at the beginning. You can choose to go left or right, and most players will choose right because most humans are right-handed and being conditioned by dozens of other move right games. Unfortunately for them, they'll hit a dead end. This immediately makes it clear that the level isn't about exploring. This is about doing what it damn well tells you, and you'll like it. So you go the other way, solve a small puzzle with one of those helpful Chozo statues who opens a little funnel into the area below. And then, oh look, another Chozo statue. Wonder what kind of freebie item he'll give me. Always so nice, those Chozo statues. Swell guys that just... Wait, what? What? I didn't sign up for this! That's right. This friendly NPC-like object decides to attack you instead. Though the game has played this trap before, it's been hours since that initial encounter, and this statue is far more aggressive than its departed brother. The more you try to be clever and find some other cheap way around, the more it wails on you. No more finding an easy way, no more tricks. You just have to push forward and confront it head on, and only then can you beat it. So you do, and you get Samus's last upgrade, the iconic Screw Attack. Undoubtedly one of the most powerful weapons in the game. Samus's infinite jumping powers absolutely decimate wide open areas. So Lower Norfair keeps her constrained to corridors that limit the effectiveness of her ultimate weapon. The game then throws a couple of rising lava rooms at you to keep you on your toes and, more importantly, to keep you moving forward instead of searching for the secrets that you desperately want. The more observant of you may have noticed the green path to the upper right of the map, and how it's optional. And now while this is true, the path loops around on itself, putting the player right back where they started. Not only that, but this area hardly feels optional at all, because most players are going to miss the correct path the first time through. This shows huge restraint from the developers, because doing this allows them to create a largely linear experience without feeling like a mindless march forward. But the last stretch of areas, here the game doesn't hold anything back. Hopping enemies, flying enemies, lava, fire, spikes, enemies immune to your cool new screw attack, the ultimate form of space pirates! It's all on full force here, and it's one relentless challenge after another. As you go deeper and deeper, anticipation builds as you wonder what it's leading to. If you played the first Metroid, you already know. You're giddy with anticipation, ready for the moment he shows up. It's Ridley, sucker! Even if you didn't play the first game, this dillweed showed up in the beginning of this one, so you just knew he was coming eventually. He stole the baby Metroid, and you've been through as close to hell as Zebus will allow to get it back. The anticipation you feel when just his eye appears before his whole body fades in. Oh man, it gives you chills, especially with his powerful and memorable theme playing right after. You just know you're in for the fight of your life. And you are, because Ridley is the hardest boss in the game. Absolutely relentless. He's constantly in your face. The arena is tiny and covered in lava, and he can reach out and grab you right where you stand. Worse still, he absolutely refuses to die. At the very least, he can take 30 super missiles, a weapon with very limited ammo that can be hard to hit with. If you don't have that many though, be prepared for a long fight, because Ridley can take no less than, wait for it, 180 normal missiles. And you can't cheat by pushing him into lava or electrocuting yourself like other bosses. You just have to hold steady and keep shooting. It's just you and Ridley in a slugfest to the death. And because of that, it's one of the most memorable boss encounters in any video game. When you do beat him, you're rewarded with a punch to the gut. The baby Metroid isn't here, beginning a small mystery that will be finished later. You'll have to trek all the way back through Norfair, which helps to reinforce the feeling of depth as you storm to the surface and to the final area. But unfortunately, Torian seems to forget how to make an enjoyable linear level. It's undoubtedly trying to invoke nostalgia for the original Metroid, but because of that, the entire level is very straightforward and easy. Traps and enemies can be frozen, and the area feels more barren than it feels hostile, and overall can be handled at a leisurely pace. The boss fight in particular feels like a huge letdown from a gameplay perspective at least, since it's almost impossible to lose. The escape sequence is decent, but for my money, Lower Norfair will always be the true final test of Super Metroid. It takes everything you thought you knew, turns it on its head, and asserts that it can dial back the exploration when it counts to create a brutal and exhilarating final sprint. And that is how you design for linearity.